Welcome students to the lecture of software engineering and project management. Today we are going to see the fifth unit. Okay. Uh, but prior to that, I just want to give everybody the best wishes of Rakhi Purnima, the festival of what you can say Indian culture in which brother promises to the sister for protecting her in uh, her ups and downs in the life. Okay, so actually this is the a bond of affection. I think almost every one of you are quite fascinated by different type of events nowadays are called as like a friendship day, this day, and likewise day. You can call in that fashion. This is the brothers and sisters day. Okay, so while you are preparing for this lecture, I wish all you uh, enjoy the brothers and sisters day and always try to protect your brothers and sisters. Okay, so whenever possible, also train them to protect themselves. Okay, so let's start with the lecture now. Now, before starting with what you can say the actual subject, what I am just going to share with you is the number of recordings that I received for the TAE 2, and up till now I received only one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 recordings. Other people they sent me the PowerPoint presentations, but many of them not use added their photograph here. I asked this compulsorily to add your photograph because that will be the screen on the YouTube channel, and at the same time that will be the screen for giving your introduction to the NBA or NAC committee whenever they come and see the sample. And I'm really happy and actually feel very proud that some of the videos, whatever I received till now, the students managed to explain the thing in such a well and what you can say good manner that I myself feel that this is the teacher, what you can say dream teacher that I some dream that मेरे सर ने या मेरे टीचर ने मुझे इस तरह से पढ़ाना चाहिए था like that. Okay, so I'm not going to take the name of anybody because that will automatically start giving you the comparison. But some of you really given a very good presentations in these videos, and I'm going to share these videos on my YouTube channel from this Sunday. And obviously, as I told you that as soon as you submit the presentation, you get the 1 mark, and if you submit the recording, you get the 2 marks, and remaining 2 marks are totally depends upon the way of your presentation and the content of your presentation. Okay, so be prepared with that. Now we can go for the our lecture. So what is today's topic that actually counts more. So this is your fifth unit, software metrics and software quality management, where we are going to check the metrics. Metrics means the benchmarks, or what we call as the threshold, or what we call as the constraints, or whatever we can call as something which actually assures quality of the product. So those are called as the metrics. So we are going to learn all those metrics, the metrics which have some historical what you can say value, and the metrics which are right now practically in use. So metrics which are having the historical values are not in use, not because those metrics are what you can say faulty, just because the today's technologies and those metrics are not compatible with each other, and so you can't use those metrics in today's technological advancement. And maybe whatever we are going to learn in this subject right now, software metrics and software quality management, some of the metrics are already became obsolete due to the very advancement in the software engineering technology. Okay, and that part is not covered in your syllabus. That is in your sixth unit, where we are going only with 3 hours of the discussion about PERT CPM and the advances in the software engineering management. So let's start with the what you can say, syllabus. Now in the syllabus, this first presentation topics or subject is not there in the matrix. But without learning or without understanding the management spectrum, it is very difficult to what you can say, set the metrics or to consider exactly what those metrics are. And so even this topic is not included in your syllabus as a beyond syllabus part of the fifth unit. I'm trying to cover this so that you will once again come to know about the project management or what is the software engineering. Okay, it is not just the programming, it is very versatile, what you can say, business. So we are going to start with this thing. Once again, what you can say, congrats those people who have literally given very good presentation recordings to me, and they literally, what you can say, your enthusiasm in the subjects actually uh, give me more inspiration to work on my teaching style and other things. Thank you very much for that. Let's proceed with the presentation of the today's lecture. So we are going to see these things in a little bit hurry because this part is again the part which is not so today we are going to see this management spectrum: people, product, process, project, then the different type of people, what are the different product scope and problem decomposition, what exactly means by this process and other things, and likewise. So once we go through all these things, we will identify, will actually become capable to identify the type of metrics that we can. Okay, this Foxit Reader stop itself. I'm going to restart it. You are going to identify, or you are going to recreate, or you are going to establish certain type of benchmarks, or what we call as a certain type of quality measures, or certain types of you can say rules to ensure the quality of whatever software that we are going to design and develop. So first, when we say management spectrum, we are having these three things. First is the people, second is the product, and third is the process. Okay. Now, when we say people, you know that people means what? People means you and me. Yes, people means buyers and sellers. People means developers and testers. People means any person who is interested in your product and can help or destroy the economy of your product. So when we say people, what happened to this Foxit trader? I don't know. It's not starting. Okay, started. Yes, maybe some updation is going on about this reader. That's why it's giving some problems. So let's start with it. So when we say people, people first thing, that is whether it's me or you or anybody else in the world, our first thing which actually what can I say, uh, make us different from the other uh, people or from other persons is just by what we can say the one thing, and that is what we call as a self identification or self esteem. And when it get exaggerated, we call it as ego. And almost every one of us is a victim of our own ego. Yes, victim of our own ego. And so when it comes to people management, you require to be very careful handling the ego of the person. Okay, because if you hurt someone's ego, then that person will never listen to you, or that person become a complete enemy to you. And in a business, at, okay, no matter what type of business you are carrying out, making enemies just by hurting them without any reason is not the good thing. So in people, this spectrum management, when we say the things, we should have to be very considerate about these things. So we are going to learn about all these things, okay, and now we are going to see this thing. So effective software project management, these four P's are there, okay. So why it's necessary? It's that is the manager who forgets the software engineering work is an intensely human endeavor will never have success in project management, because it is not which language you know, whether you know C language, whether you know Java language, whether you know Python language, whether you don't know those languages. If you can't handle your team properly, if you can't give respect to them, if you go on depressing your team somehow, if you go on what you can say, not identifying the virtues and what you can say the qualities of a person. For example, sometimes what happens, a person with a what you can say less capability get the higher post, and in that way, in that case, that person start to get fear, and that person then try to depress or try to suppress all the people working with him as a boss. Such person actually ruins his or her future, the team future, as well as the organization future. So that is what this means, that the manager who forgets the software engineering work, it's just not the software engineering work, it's any work. Let's consider that you form a project team and one of you is a intelligent, supposed to be intelligent in a team, based on the percentage, and then he started showing off, means because he got 1% extra from than you, okay, that means you should have to listen to that person. But no, don't go that way. Some maybe think that is you are a good manager, but that doesn't mean that you are a good technologist. Yes, so you have to respect the technical person, you have to respect the managerial person, you have to respect everybody. At the same time, when you try to use your power, there is a possibility that you may go on abusing your power. Abusing your power means, say suppose you are a team leader, okay, or you are my team manager, and you use that just to what you can say point out the negative factors of your team members, okay, and based on that you start giving them unnecessary what you can say memos, or indirectly you are started pinning them down. What will happen? The entire team will go against you. So our entire team, if they won't go against you, will don't work in a proper way, and so it will become quite difficult for you to achieve the team goal. The personal goal the manager will get here is that when you go on suppressing all these peoples, and likewise you are always in a fear that someone will rebel out, and this fear will actually make you mentally completely unstable. An unstable manager, mental unstable manager, will find it is very difficult to do his or her own progress, to do the progress of the organization, and also to go progressively in a teamwork. And that's why the manager in the team of software development team should have to be rational. I don't say that he must have to be like some saint or something. Yes, every person has ego, every person has to nurture that, but over nurturing one's ego and just considering that others are having no backbone is something which is very very dangerous to the teamwork. And so anyone in a team should have to know these things. Yes, and that is what you say this is this sentence stands for. Okay, this seems to be quite philosophical or sometimes spiritual, but this is the principle, and all principles, whether they are scientific or they are what we call as a other type of philosophical or spiritual, are basically spiritual or ethical. They should have to concentrate. Now he says that is in second term, that a manager who fails to encourage comprehensive stakeholders communication early in the evolution of the product risks building an elegant solution for the wrong problem. So if you are a project manager, if you are a teacher, if you are a student, if you are a parent, if you are living person, what I can say, somehow related with some type of product. For example, let's say suppose right now you are using say iPhone given by your father. Your father is not using that, but your father out of affection given that iPhone to you. Yes, but if you and your father fails to communicate with each other, what will happen? There may be the what you can say possibility that the product utilization will go in a wrong way, and that is what you can say the thing. So manager who fails to encourage comprehensive stakeholders, any person who actually adds either in your progress or in your product sale or somehow affect the economy of your product or your software is the stakeholder. That person may be the person who invested in your what you can say company. That person may be the person who invested in you, that is your mother, father, and likewise. So they have emotional investment. That person may be a teacher like me and other teachers that you actually face from your first standard to till this date. Okay, they also have some emotional what you can say bonding with you, almost like your parents. That's why the many times it's considered that teachers are the second parents to their what you can say students. So if they fail to encourage you, let's say suppose if I go on scolding for every mistake that you make, what will happen? You will start to get a negativity in you, and then even if you are having some possibilities of becoming a very good person, okay, in the some field of the engineering or somewhere, you will stop there and you will go in a negative direction. But instead if I encourage the positive atoms triangles in you, okay, what will happen? You will get praise, your ego will get nurtured, and this nurtured ego which actually nurtured on the positive side will help you to do your things in a more better way. And as soon as you start doing your things in a more better way, day by day you will automatically cultivate into a very good person who is ethical, who is technologically strong, and who can do many things. In the same way, the stakeholder is just like that. If you don't communicate properly with the stakeholder, if you don't give proper you can say input to the stakeholder will go in the negativity, and they will start what you can say uh, what you can say retaining, or what you can say supporting you actually. And once the stakeholders stops supporting you, your company will automatically go into the derail. And so the manager should have to go and encourage the stakeholders for different type of things. The third is that is manager who pays little attention to the process runs the risk of inserting competent technical methods and tools into a vacuum. The person who don't know much about the process, or the person who really do not like to follow the process, many times creates nuisance in the company. And if that person is a manager, okay, who pays very little attention, this is called as a leading by example. Means you set some rules, okay, you set some rules, that is say suppose if you are conducting some webinar, okay, you are asking someone to conduct some webinar, and then you are inviting someone, you set some rule, you start done this all those things, and suddenly you tell that person who invited or something that these things are cancelled, then it's become quite difficult to the person, okay, which is a middleman who is in actually inviting the external entity to handle those. So here you require to pay the attention to the complete process, because if you know won't give the attention to complete process, many time you start to lose many things. First, the external organizations, which we call as the customer or your marketers, will start to lose trust in you. As soon as they start to lose trust in you, you will risk that what you can say non-collaboration from the market. And so a manager should have to give the proper attention to all process. Means if even if they want to close some deal without any outcome, the language, the documentation, everything should have to be done in a very proper way. Okay, so that is what we call a manager who pays a little attention to process runs the risk of inserting competent technical methods and tools in a vacuum. Means even if he is having good resources, all the resources will go in vain, and that is what you can say the fourth in the management spectrum. Then we are having this the manager who embarks without a solid project plan jeopardize the success of the project. What we call this as the Indiana Jones policy means we will do the things when the things will happen. No, prepare yourself, always remain prepared, and you have to be very alert regarding your future. And likewise, at least for the next 5 years, you should have to plan what exactly you want to earn in the next 5 years. What is earning is not just the money. To earn means what type of social position you want to earn, what type of technical skill you want to learn or earn, and likewise. And so that is what you can say. The manager should have to have a prospective plan for the things. If he's not having any prospective plan, actually jeopardize the everything. That is what you can say the management spectrum. So in the management spectrum, the people factor is very important. That's why the Software Engineering Institute say actually created people capability maturity model, and this for this what you can say thing, and why they created, because organization needs continually to improve its ability to attract, develop, motivate, organize, and retain the workforce needed to accomplish its strategic business objective. And for that purpose, they use this CPMM or sorry PCMM, people capability maturity model. Now let's see what it said. So this defines following key practice areas for a software people actually. First is the staffing. So how to select, what type of interviews must have to be taken, what type of interview questions must have to be asked, and likewise what is the communication and coordination skill between the person is having. So to check this group discussion and other things are there. So just knowing any language completely doesn't going to help you anyhow. Okay, you should have to have the communication ability. That means you must have to communicate with your people. Then setting the work environment, a friendly work environment where everyone knows that even if he or she or anyone is a boss or someone, they at the end are the part of a team. So whether you are a head or whether you are a foot, yes, means if brain say I am at the top, listen to me, and then heart say yes, okay, let me stop and then see who can listen to whom. Okay, so if our organ, yes, if our organ starts fighting with each other, what will happen? Our organization means our complete body will fail down and we will become dead. In the same way, every person in any organization is the organ of that particular organization. And if that organ consider only itself or himself or herself as most important organ and others are of useless thing, okay, what will happen? It will simply destroy the entire organization, means the body of that organization. And so this people cmm model says the work environment should have to be such that every person in that organization should have to collaborate with the other person. They must not have to what you can say dictate the other person. Yes, okay, that is what is a friendly and good environment. Performance management should have to be there. Everyone must have to be given proper duties. If someone fail to perform properly, you should have to go with the training. Okay, if someone do a more performance, you must have to go with the compensation, and you also have to go with the competency analysis and development. Let's say suppose you are having someone working in your organization for last few years, and for last few years that someone actually does nothing but just work with your organization. So what is the competency of this person? Nil. Why is still there? Because you have no opportunity anywhere. Yes. So you have to check this competency, and competency must have to be checked with unbiased techniques. So when you are checking this competency, you should have to hire the third party. For example, let's say suppose you are a team member of a team, okay, and with some team member you got some differences. So what will happen, as a person you are also having the ego, that person is also ego, and you people may start hitting each other, and likewise. So when it comes to competency analysis, the one who is having the higher position will always try to deprive the one who is having the lower position from benefits. In such cases, the company or the organization should have to hire the third party which will detect or must have to have the competency analysis pro forma in such a way that it should have to cut down everybody's ego to zero. Means they must have to be fact based. Competency analysis should have to be fact based. Okay, and that is what. But these conditions are always ideal conditions. No organization is actually free from the human emotional what you can say web, and that way many times it's actually designed. Then the career development, if you get a person in your organization who is having good qualification, who is having good experience, who is competent enough, and likewise the organization should have to consider that person in real for the good positions and what you can say good promotions, good responsibilities, and that is what we call as a career development. Because many time what happen, people just leave the organization. Okay, people in a software industry just leave the organization when they won't get any career development there. And that is what we call as a job satisfaction. So let's say suppose you are having a organization, a software organization, you are working on some product, and someone comes to you who is an android expert. Okay, you hire that person, and that person given you the very good and you can say output, and after a year, after 2 year or after few year, you find that person find that there is no scope now for the upper career or for what you can say career advancement in industry, then that person may leave your industry. In such conditions you should have to consider such person to give some scope for the development, because retaining good people, companies won't run on their product, companies always run on the people the company hires. Okay, so and company keep, and to keep the good people, company also have to work in a good way, and that is what we call as the career development in a people cmm. Then work group development, I already told you that is a team spirit should have to be there. No one must have to behave in a way to what you can say knock someone. Okay, but sometimes what happens, the people who are generally have the fear of losing, okay, generally start working in a negative manner, and that may cause deterioration in work group development. Team culture development should have to be there, and there are many other things like ethical and this and that should have to be considered in management spectrum. Now in management spectrum, the second is the product, is your software. So define reasonable estimates of the cost and effective assessment of risk, realistic breakdown of the project task. This should have to be done. Okay, of the product. So when you want to introduce a product, right now, let's say suppose not suppose, right now our Indian government has banned 59 Chinese apps, and then now 47 more. So those apps which are actually banned by India are the opportunities for the Indian software engineers, the new blood actually, even the old blood like me also, okay, is an opportunity to find out the proper what you can say market is already there, to find out a proper way to start the Indian made what you can say alternatives to these type of products. And so that is what we call as a defined reasonable estimates of the cost. So what will be the cost development? Now when we say cost, it is actually money required, time required, and skill required. That is what we call as a cost. Okay, then effective assessment of the risk. So if you start such type of project, what type of risks you have to face? Those, there are legal risks, there are financial risks, there are many other risks that you have to consider. The realistic breakdown of the project task. So once you decided to go for that particular project, you should and must have to have the realistic breakdown of the project task, and that is what necessary here for the project indication. Okay, so okay, today is Rakhi Purnima, so 69 attendees are only there. Right, then objectives identify the overall goals of the product. So when we say objective, these are from the stakeholders' point of view. So who are the stakeholders? First, who finance you to develop that product? They are interested in profit. Second, who support you to develop that product? They are interested in your progress. Third, the buyers are the customers and users. So these are the three major. And fourth is the government, who actually legalize or give the things. So you have to objectify, you have to give the objectives to identify all these goals. Then the scope identifies the primary data, functions, and behavior. So what exactly you want to do with your product? For example, let's say suppose if you create a simple tax calculator, what is the scope of the product? To calculate the tax given on the particular type of input. Now primary data will be the person's tax account number, and likewise, so the functions will be to do this, and those are go on. So the scope actually identifies, scope means the field of your product, and then the limit of your product in that particular field. Yes, so this is what the alternatives are there, which actually enable managers and practitioners to select the best approach. Now these alternatives may be your competent competitors, and or these alternatives may be the we can say that different way to solve the same problem. Okay, so this you require to go through in the management spectrum for the product. Then the third is the process in management spectrum, where the software process required to be go with the what you can say a framework, and you know that framework of the software engineering process. Yes, first you require to communicate, then you require to design, and then you require to construct, then you require to deploy, likewise that, or what we call as say all dream comes true. Yes, analyze, design, code, test, maintain, and like this. So this activity should have to be done. And so whenever you go on creating any software, you should have to follow the process, because if you won't follow the process, you will find it difficult to reach or to achieve your goal. And last is the project. So what is project? Project is actually the collaboration of the people, product, and process in a one way within a particular time frame. So it's actually conduct the everything, and it's control everything. So it's actually collaborate people with the product and the process, and process with the people and the product, and product with the process and the people. So that is what we call as a project. So it's a only known way to manage the complexity. So avoid project failure. You require to do project software manager or software project manager and the software engineers must avoid the set of common warning signs. Okay, and what is the common warning signs is the ego clashes or unnecessary what you can say suppressing of each other. Then understand the critical success factors that lead to good project management. Always know that is every person, even he or she is acting sometimes in a different way, is basically a good person, and so you require to act on the goodness of that person. Okay. Generally, I don't think that is the person who becomes software engineer by devoting his or her 20 or 24 years of life into the education is bad. Okay, if he is or she is really bad, he or she will automatically what you can say end up as a criminal before completing his or her own education. A few exceptions are always there. We can't go with that. And how to develop a common sense approach for planning, monitoring, and controlling the project. Common sense approach is that what you can say, you should have to consider what is sellable in the market and how to work on that, or you have to create something which should have to start the syllabus. Now we are going to see the part of these things. So what are the people? First is the senior manager, because they are the most responsible person, or you can say the authority in any organization, or what we call as the directors, principals, project leaders, CEO, chief executive officers, CFOs, chief financial officers, and likewise they are. So they actually defines these business issues and often have a significant influence on the project, and that's why they are the most responsible. What we call when war get won, usually the king get what you can say, all the credits. Why? Because he is the most responsible person in that particular thing, and so that is what we call as the senior managers. Then there are the project managers. In educational system we can call them as the coordinators or HODs, okay, or the deans. And these project managers must have to have the plan, motivate, organize, and the control. But when we say controlling, don't this should controlling should not have been done like a herd. Okay, this must have to be humanity control. Then you have the practitioners, means actual what you can say, the team developers. So practitioners who deliver the technical skill and are necessary. Then you have the customers who actually specify the requirements and other things. Then you have the end users. Right now I must have to differentiate between the customer and end user. Your parents are paying the fees to this organization, so they are, what you can say, fall in a category of customers. But you are the one who are using the services of this organization to build your own career. So you are the end users. In the same way, when our organization buys some software, organization is the customer for that software. But when the me teachers like me uses that software, we are the end users of that software. So what you can say, this is the difference between customer and end user, and that require to be very thing. Now in PUF, these team leaders, what they require to do. Team leaders, as per the Jerry Weinberg said in 1986, they should have to motivate, have the ability to motivate, not discourage or nag. Okay, because some people have this, they consider because they are the boss, they can nag anybody, but it's not the thing. Many times you require to have that much of quality to nag someone, okay, or to say someone's way. So when we say leading by examples, means like our most revered Chhatrapati Shivaji. Yes, so he always lead the team, and that's why this called as a team leaders. But nowadays we generally won't have the team leaders. We generally have what we call as a टीम मैनेजर्स. हम उसको हिंदी में मुकादम बोलते हैं, और इंग्लिश में उसको सुपरविजर्स बोलते हैं. They actually many times don't have much skills. They simply go on, what you can say, scolding the people. And so when they go on scolding the people, such type of so-called team leaders in any industry actually ruins the team spirit. Then the team leader should have to have the capability of organization, ability to mold existing processes that will enable the initial concept and must translate it into final product. So that they must have to consider themselves as a brain, but they must also have to consider the other also of importance, and likewise, and that is what calls organization. Ideas or innovation. Sometimes what happen, if someone comes with a great idea, many times the ego part actually plays a very nasty role, and the person at the higher level generally try to, what you can say, discourage the person who come from the things to go for this idea, and likewise. So you should have to go and what you can say, help these people to come up with more ideas and innovation. Okay, so ideas and innovations should have to be there, and for this every person in the organization should have to we can say feel creative, and for that purpose you require to create a very friendly organizational environment. Then These are the characteristics of effective project manager given by Age in 1995. Effective project manager himself or herself should have to have the ability of problem solving. They must have to have the managerial identity. A good project manager must take a charge of the project. But many times what happens, people instead of giving the charge of the project, they have this myth that because uh, for example, let's say suppose someone is trying to give some orders to somebody. Okay, so just giving order won't what you can say complete the task. Even taking the follow up, have done this, have done this, have done this, won't going to give you any output. Managerial identity means that you have to motivate the people in such a way that, and you have to trust them. Okay, you have to trust them, and that is what you call say manager identity. Then the achievement should have to be there. A competent manager must reward initiative and accomplishment to optimize the productivity of the project team. So she must demonstrate through her own actions. That is what we call as the leading by example. So if you are a manager, if you are a team leader, and if you want to accomplish something, you should have to have that much of abilities. Yes, so that is what we call what can I say, and control risk taking. They must have to have the ability to influence and the people as well as the team building. There are two type of things. One, influencing, call at what you can say, you actually influence the people, but you don't intervene in their life. Another is called as the not influencing. That is what the thing. So you should have to build a team, and you should have to influence them. If a team leader fail to influence someone, obviously the people in a team will start to lose the respect or what can say trust about this team leader, and once they lose this thing, they won't listen to the team leader. So the software team is what you can say thing. So best team structure depend on many things. So there are so the seven planning structures of the software engineering teams given by the man in 1981. A number of people who will populate the team and their skill levels. They are the problem. First difficulty is the difficulty of the problem to be solved. Because if problem is easy, you require less team members. If problem is more difficult, you require more team members. The size of the resultant programs in lines of code, function points, and other things. Time that the team will stay together. So what is the time of the team? For example, right now you and I are the part of a team, and we are going to stay together with for the next let's say uh, you are now in third year, so for the next year only. Okay, for so from first year to final year only for 4 years. That is what we call as a team lifetime. But if you go with a particular teacher, let's say the teacher is a physics teacher, then the team lifetime may be a semester or maybe a year, like that. So that is what we call say team lifetime. So within that team lifetime, you should have to develop respect for each other. It is not just the respect one way. Okay, means you respect me and I will never. It is not the way of what can say having the respect. You will never get the respect in that way. I have to give you first the respect, then and then only you will give me the respect, and that is what we consider time to stoop together. And how you can give the respect? Now some people consider that giving respect to a teacher or giving respect to the team leader is means what you can say you have to go and to say good morning sir, or good evening sir, or good day sir, or how to go there and you have to talk with that person every now and then. I won't consider that respect in my own view. I consider that respect means giving your output. Means what I say, you are giving me respect or you are giving a respect to any teacher means that you score higher in that particular subject, and we score higher in that particular subject, you humbly says this happens because of the efforts the teacher and my friends taken to give me what you can say the best in this subject. That is what you can say. So you have to give on this modularize the problem, required quality, reliability, rigidity of the delivery date. For example, rigidity of the degree program 4 years is what we call say. So these are the problems, but these are the factors that also you have to consider while creating your complete what can I say, project development. Then there are four organizational paradigms, which first is the closed paradigm structure a team along a traditional hierarchy of authority. Best example of closed paradigm structure is the China's way of working. Okay, only one person decides everything, and that is what you say closed paradigm. Then the random paradigms, you don't know who is the leader, and everybody go with an likewise. So this is a chaos. Okay, this is not actually the paradigm itself. This is what's a no paradigm. Then you have the open paradigms where attempts to structure a team, where team whenever they go on working, they actually communicate with each other, and then and they try to agree upon something, and then they go on doing. Then the synchronous paradigms, this relies on the natural compartmentalization of a problem. So whenever a problem is come, you actually what you can say, uh, observe that problem, and then whoever naturally competent to solve that problem, they forms the team and go on this thing. So these are the thing. Now we are going to see about the product in a software scope. So software project management activity first, these are the metrics actually. First, software project management activity is the determination of software scope. What exactly you want to establish through your software, that is called as a software scope. For example, if you create a computer game, okay, interactive game, then your first goal is to establish that interactivity in a game, and that is the scope. So this actually answered by these things, the context, that how does the software to be built fit into a larger system product or a business context, and what constraints or limitations are there imposed on this product. Then the information objectives must have to be there. What customer visible data objects are there produced as output from the software? What data objects are required for the input? And likewise, what will be the functionalities that you are going to introduce in your software, and how your software is going to use the memory and other computational resources of the you can say hardware to give the final output within a stipulated time, that is called as the performance. Okay, while maintaining the security and privacy of the end user. So this functional performance should have to be there, and you have to ask these questions. And likewise, these are still the things that everybody require to go with. So software project scope must be unambiguous. They have to be very clear and what you can say discrete in a what you can say matter, and you must have to be understandable and management at the management as well as technical level. Means if you are in the scope of the software, for example, if I say I want to build a software for e-Shopee in a Wagholi region, now the software scope is very clear. You want to build a e-Shopee business, online e-Shopee business for the Wagholi region. So constraint is the your e-Shopee business is workable within the boundary of Wagholi. Yeah. Then your e-Shopee e-business itself tell the management that you are going to work on the yeah, what you can say e-commerce site. Okay, that is web marketing. Then you are having the technical levels also know from these that is what you are actually going to design and develop. So this is a simple statement. Your statement of the software project should have to be such that it should have to give the complete idea of the software within one sentence. I am saying within one sentence, not a paragraph. Okay, that is what we call as software project scope. A statement of a software scope must be bounded, that is quantitative data. For example, right now we say within the boundary of Wagholi. So you know that there is a quantitative data is the number of users in a Wagholi, that is the population. Target environment is the Wagholi market, maximum like this, and so allowable. Constraints are also there. Constraints here, the size, product, cost, whatever the thing you are noted. Mitigating factors are there, that is what type of algorithm. So now that comes to the technological thing. So this may be like you are using Ajax, you are using Java, you are using Python, or you may be using many other different you can say thing. Then you have to go with the product, that is called as a problem decomposition. For example, right now if you say e-Shopee business development for the Wagholi region, What are the decomposition? You get first decomposition as the graphical user interface. Second decomposition is your business logic. Now you are having the different type of products to store the information of this product. You require the database. Then you are having the different type of users like a buyers, sellers, administrator. To save the what you can say information of these people, you require the different database. So you got 3D composition. So you now require the database developer, you require the graphical user interface, or instead of saying the graphical user interface only, user interface developer. Okay, then you are having this product and the users, and you require to show this information properly on your website. So you require the content developers, you require then the actual logic or program developer, and that is what we call as a problem decomposition. So this actually gives you different type of activities and different type of team members to work with each other. Okay, and even in this problem decomposition of eShopee, you can say that there requires a team which can physically deliver the product to the customer, and so you know now that you require the logistic partner also. So during this scoping activity, no attempt is made to fully decompose the problem. So as go on decomposing, you may go with can say identifying the new things. So general decomposition is based on the functionality and the content. So what type of information is there? For example, first we said we require graphical user interface, we require the business logic, and we require the databases. That is based on the functionality and the information. Okay, but at the same time, when we go on detailing, we found that we also require a content developer, and we also require someone to deliver the product. So we come up with the new decomposition, and so it goes on likewise. So process that will be used to deliver it, and likewise. So the next part is the process. Software engineering team must decide which process model is most appropriate for the customers, okay, who have requested that particular product, the characteristics of the product itself, what type of product that you are doing, what type of software. Actually software is a product. So wherever you are here hearing the product, hear it as a software or read it as a software. So the project environment in which the software team works. When the process model has been selected, the team then defines the preliminary project plan. So there are different type of process model. You can go with the extreme programming, you can go with the Scrum, you can go with the we can say XP, you can go with the industrial XP, you can go with the waterfall, you can go with the V model, you can go with any type of what you can say the process model, and based on that you have to design the process frameworks activities, primary activities. So once this preliminary data, which is a preliminary plan, is established, your process decomposition begins. So you go with the analysis, you go with the design, you go with the coding, you go with the testing. That is what we call as a process decomposition, and this should have to be done. So this diagram here, this actually chart is adapted from the book of Roger Pressman, Software Engineering, a Practitioner's Approach. And so project planning begin with this melding this product and the processes. So here you are having this simple thing of the process of the software engineering, which is communication, planning, modeling, construction, and deployment in this direction. And then here you are having software engineering tasks, different tasks. So for communication, here you are having the communication tasks in this part again. Then you are having this planning task. Okay, then you are having this modeling task, then you are in construction, and then you are in this deployment task. So if you go with all these tasks, you are having these things which you should have to go with the thing. So process decomposition is also the one thing that you are required to. This commences when project manager asks how do we accomplish the framework activity. For example, to complete your entire degree, we actually decompose your degree into 4 years. Then each year is decomposed into 2 semesters. Then each semester is decomposed into few subjects likewise. So that is what we call as the entire process decomposition. So in the same way, your software development should have to be decomposed into smaller parts. So develop a list of clarification issues, meet stakeholders, meetings and other things, jointly have to develop the statements. These are the things that you have to go through. Then you may have the complex project with a broader scope and more businesses. in that case you should have to take the help of outward entities also. For example, for some course we asked you to do the online Moodle MOOC courses, okay, or NPTEL courses, and likewise. So review the customer request. This you have to do. Working documents like these things. You have to conduct the meetings with all type of stakeholders. You also have to review each mini spec or something like this, and have to avoid any type of ambiguity. So you have to make the statements clear and cut. Okay, so that is what you can say the process decomposition. And then we go with the process and project matrix for this. So once you manage all those things, what we call as a people, product, and process, and the controlling these three things with what we call as a project, we can go for the metrics. So what are these metrics which enables the project manager to assess the status of ongoing project? These are the benchmarks to design the benchmarks. These are the metrics to design the metrics. You must have to the metrics must have to give the ability to the project manager to track the potential risk. Metrics must have to give ability to the project manager to uncover problem areas before they go critical. Okay, likewise, so adjust workflow or tasks, evaluate the project team's ability. Okay, and it must have to give you what you can say quality work products, and likewise. So if you go with the project and project team matrix, these are the things. So you here whenever we say matrix design, product is always at the top. Product is always at the top, but the base of any product first is the people, okay, and second is the technology. People and technology, when they combine with each other, or actually they collaborate with each other, and if they got a development environment which have a predefined and what you can say strictly followed process, then and then only they can create a good product. Okay, and for this good product you should have to have particular type of customer characteristics and the business conditions. Okay, so you should have to consider all these things in a process and you can say project matrix development. So the skill and motivation of people, these are shown by Bohr in 1981. Okay, so these are the things. So Grady in 92 gives the software matrix etiquettes. So say that is what are the etiquettes? First etiquette is that use the common sense, okay, and organizational sensitivity. Don't forget that you are working with the human beings, and every human being is capable of doing many things, and so do not underestimate the people. Okay, and do not what we can say uh, actually try to hurt them emotionally or other way. Okay, because if you hurt someone who is more capable than you, okay, or even if he is not more capable than you, that person can cause some damage to your career. So instead of doing that, always try to give respect, and then only you will get the respect back. So provide regular feedback. This feedback should have to be done not to what you can say again to the individuals or the teams, okay, who collects measures and metrics. Feedback should have to be for not to scold them, but instead to motivate them, okay, to do more things. So don't use matrices to appraise individuals. Okay, do not use metrics to appraise a single individual or few individual from the team. You have to appraise the complete thing, complete team. Work with the practitioners and team to set clear goals. Never use metrics to threat someone, individual or a team. ओके, नहीं तो कुछ लोग क्या होते हैं वो रूल्स दिखा के दूसरों को डराते हैं. नाउ इफ यू तो आपने सनी देओल की फिल्म तो देखी ही होगी, घातक. उसमें वो ना डरा कर लोगों को वो जीता है जिसकी हड्डियों में पानी भरा होता है. दैट मीन्स if someone is having the higher position is threatening you unnecessary, always remember this: the person who unnecessarily threat to the people in his or her team is the person who is a cowardly by nature. Okay, he's not a team leader, he's even not capable of leading that team. So always try to cultivate this ability in you, not to threat anybody unnecessarily. Then matrix data that indicate the problem area, it should not be considered negative. Okay, data indicator must have be, don't obsess on a single metric. कभी भी ये मत सोचो कि this metric is the only metric. There are many ways to solve the same problem, and you should have to find these alternative problems and likewise ways to do those things. So this, the intent of project matrix is twofold. I'm not going to read this paragraph, the above paragraph. You should go and read that. So first is the metrics are used to minimize the development schedule by making the adjustment, and the second is the project metrics are used to assess product quality. So whatever the thing, if you are in an organization, you are the organ of that organization, and if you fail to complete your duty properly, you have no right to say other organ to complete his or her duty properly. Okay, so first complete your duty, then automatically if you are at a higher organ like heart, if heart is doing its duty properly, other organs will automatically do the duties properly. Brain is doing the duties properly, almost all organs will get the clear and what you can say distinct uh, uh, orders, and they will do the work. But if the brain, the highest management what we say, fails to give the proper idea, what will happen? If your brain goes you can say is start doing giving you random orders, what will happen? We generally call that person as an insane person. In the same way, if the highest management fails to give the proper orders to the what you can say the working class in the organization fails. And that is what the two intent of the project matrix, to create the product quality. So I'm really thankful to all of you. This is a question and answer time. I really like this actually wallpaper from the internet, and so I use it. That it says that a little more persistence and a little more effort, and what seems hopeless failure may turn into a glorious success. And why I'm going to give my example of my own life. Once upon a time, when I used to be a very small child, third or fourth, I think fifth or sixth standards, uh, between them, few of my teachers and even few of my colleagues said that they have no hope for me. Means they say that this student is a hopeless one. I never listened to them. Okay, I keep on studying, and now you know the result. Yes, so simple thing is that if someone talks negative about you, keep your what you can say ears dumb. Don't listen to those people. Your persistence, if you persistently go after your goal, one day with your effort you will find yourself at a very glorious success. That is what you can say. I want to say in last things. So if you have any questions, queries, you can raise. If you are not having the questions, queries, I'm really thankful to all you people for staying with me. I will like, if you like the lecture, I will like at least one thumb today. And I hope all of you, and I wish all of you happy Rakhi Purnima. Okay, let's take a oath on this Rakhi Purnima of protecting each other from any type of what you can say uh, bad happening or emotional tantrum in our future. Thank you very much. I'm ending the session for now. Thank you for staying with me for this long.